Blog Talk Radio.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. I'm your official Marching Podcast announcer, David Thompson, and here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
There you are. You there, Joe? Okay. I don't know where he is, but if there's anybody listening in, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling here, man. So, once again, those of you who know me, I'm also known as Prune on the fifth quarter. I tell it like it is. That's how it is. And,
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is, bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. And coming this fall, HBCUbands.com. Write that down, HBCUbands.com. Attention high school directors and alumni. Does your band need to raise money to travel, buy instruments, or uniforms? Are you looking to raise money to help your band? Well, Big Deal Fundraising is rapidly becoming one of the largest distributors of fundraising products in the industry. Big Deal is based in New York City and ships anywhere in the United States, offering quality products, fast delivery, and innovative consultation that will help you meet your fundraising goals. Call today at 855-244-4430 or visit us at BigDealFundraisingUSA.com. Big Deal Fundraising, your fundraising partner for your band or music ensemble. Block Band is a minority-owned music business that you can think of as your assistant band director. We help grow your musicians with a great selection of traditional concert band music. Then we back up their performance with necessities like reeds, oil, drum heads, drumsticks, and mallets. Finally, we outfit your players and auxiliary in shoes, spats, and gloves that match our precise custom drills. Got band? If so, then Block Band's got you. Check blockbandmusic.com or call us at 919-698-2560. That's blockbandmusic.com, 919-698-2560. Is your credit score keeping you from buying a home, a car, starting a business, or getting a job? Is your score keeping you from living the life you want? Well, look no further than Universal Credit Sources. UCS can help with charge-offs, collections, late payments, bankruptcy, foreclosure, debt settlement, tax liens, and more. Our program is affordable with results in as little as 40 days. Call now for your free 10-minute consultation with Senior Credit Analyst and Loan Officer Angie B. Call her direct line at 469-362-9904. That's 469-362-9904. Or check out the website at universalcreditsources.com. Universal Credit Sources for anything that's hurting your credit score. Are you thinking of tying the knot, having a party, or celebrating that special time in your life? To capture these special moments, call Liquid Effects Photography and take advantage of our 10 years of quality and experience. Liquid Effects Photography covers most of the Midwestern U.S. and will travel even farther on request. Call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. Or check out our website, liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Joe? I don't hear anything right now, just to let you know. I hear nothing. So if you can hear me, I can't hear you. So if you sent me a message earlier saying that I kept going, that's because I can't hear you.
Well, I can. This is Taylor Rashad, and I can hear you.
What's going on, Taylor? Mr. Know-It-All.
What's going on, man?
Everything is cool, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. I guess I'm just talking. Is Joe on here?
I don't hear Joe.
Have you heard Joe at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, let's run the show.
All right, let's roll with it. You there, Rashad?
What's that?
I said, you there? Let's roll with it.
Yeah, so like I was telling people, man, the Warren County drumline competition is definitely one of the best events on the East Coast, man. I really enjoy it every year. It's a fantastic networking opportunity. There's so many people that were there. You know, you're talking about Tamisha Brock from Elizabeth City State, Stacia Cousins from Virginia Union was there. You know, band directors from across the country, high school band directors from across the country, percussion instructors. It's a fantastic meet and greet event. And also, it's just a great event that you bring in these bands from across the country, as well as these drum lines from across the country, man. So hats off to you for doing that, man. I definitely recommend anybody in the North Carolina.
Hello? Can you guys hear me now?
Joe, man, where you been?
Oh, man, look, this is the technology of the show, man. I've been hosting the show through my microphone. You guys can't hear me through my microphone, so I had to call in through my house phone to hear you guys. But I was like sitting here talking to the listeners, man, and y'all couldn't hear me. So I'm glad that you said you at least wanted to start talking the show. I was going Taylor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a couple questions right quick. I wanted to play Rashad's commercial before we did the Prunanalysis, if that's cool.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Taylor, when did this start? Because I see now this is actually this is a pretty big battle. When did this battle of the band start?
The first one actually was in 2001. I believe it was 2001. I did the first one in probably May of 2001. That point in time, it actually just started kind of like as a drumline competition. But what happened was the Brooklyn Steppers at that time were looking to do some traveling down south and do some performances. So they contacted me and wanted to know could they do an exhibition performance at the event. And so I brought them in, and that kind of started the band portion of it. The first year was just their band. But later on, we started putting them up against other bands. So 12 years running, man.
Wow, that's outstanding. So I saw the schools now, are they selected? I see that you got a lot of people compete. Are they selected, or do the schools apply to perform?
It's a combination of the two. Originally, I was selecting people like area groups, but what started happening was when the competition started getting a very big buzz, people from across the country started contacting me and asking to perform. So we moved from the selection process to groups that were just interested in asking to perform.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's great, man. So now I see that I see you posting on Facebook there's a first place, second place. The judges, who judges the event?
Well, this year we had 3 percussion judges. Now, the band portion of the event is not judged. We have 3 judges, and this year we had Dante Chambers, who's the percussion instructor for Shaw University, Mr. Ernest Powell, who's percussion instructor for Virginia State University, and Mr. Lamar Lawhorn, who is percussion instructor for North Carolina Central University.
Okay, and so this was, so the actual percussion part was judged, but the bands were actually performing as well?
The bands are just doing exhibitions. The percussion part is the competition.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that's why it's kind of called the Warren County Battle of the Bands and Drumline Competition.
Okay, that's hot, man. That's tight. Okay, so what are the drum lines being judged on? Do they have like specific categories?
Yes, musicality, technique, creativity, originality, showmanship, execution, rudimental application, things of that nature. Okay.
And now I was going to ask you this. What would you say well, right quick, going back to the judges, it's different. I'm doing this now with a phone now. Okay, so are the judges the same every year, or do you select hand-select judges every year?
Each year I hand-select different judges. What I try to do is I try to run each set of judges about 2 years, and then I will switch out with another set of judges. We've had judges coming from all kind of places. I've used Demetrius Hubert before, who a lot of people might know was one of the percussion instructors for Southwest DeKalb that did a lot of the percussion work for the movie Drumline. I've used Ron Rogers, who's percussion instructor for North Carolina A&T. I've even used a couple of percussion instructors that came from Drum Corps world. I wanted some people that had no knowledge of any of the participating groups. So each year I run it about 2 years, and then I try to switch it up.
Okay, that's cool. Now, after the 12 years, and that's outstanding, man. Hopefully you have 112 more. What would you say is the performance that may stick out in your mind over the years?
Well, few, but if I must say, probably, really, when I was mentioning about the Brooklyn Steppers coming, at that point in time, the band director, Tyrone Brown, contacted me and said he had this band in New York that wanted to come. I had no knowledge of them. I had never seen them before or anything. And when he sent me a picture of the group, I'll never forget that. And when he sent me this picture of the group, it was a pretty nice-sized group, probably about close to 85, 90 kids. And so when they came, their first performance was just simply outstanding. And ever since then, people look forward to the group from New York coming down. And I guess the second thing would be when Cream Drumline from Atlanta first started coming. Cream Drumline is one of the most popular, high school drumlines in the country. And when they started coming, every year they were bringing something that was very competitive with the Brooklyn Steppers. So it was really fun.
That's outstanding. And shout out to actually both programs. Brooklyn Steppers and Tyrone Brown, they've agreed to be a sponsor on our show now. So we play their commercial for Big Deal Fundraising. So shout out to him. Tyrone will be a guest on Chopping It Up as well in the future when we feature our sponsors as well as Rashad. And also shout out to Cream Percussion as well. I chopped it up with Robert Connor and talked with him, and talked to I think James Riles III. We chopped it up with him, one time. So shout out to Cream. It's really cool that we're connecting and actually getting across some similar names that we're putting together to build this common goal that we have. Okay, so right before I ask you to where we can support, what has been the biggest challenge, would you say, in running the drum competition?
I guess the biggest one challenge is, as Rashad talked about, my competition is probably one of the largest of its nature in terms of participants from various parts of the country, as well as fans, and as well as competing drum lines. I'm sure that if I did attendance yesterday, including the bands, we probably were about at 1,400 people. And that's a lot for a small country town. But I would say the biggest challenge has been, as big as the event is, just finding sponsors that will put their name and brand out there that, want to be sponsors. I've had different sponsors over the years. I've had Remo, I've had Big First, Gildan, the Fifth Quarter has sponsored me before, different things. But really looking for some major sponsors that would potentially offer financial prizes for groups, make products and things of that nature.
Okay. Well, hey, man, anything we can do to help, I definitely understand that, and definitely anything that I could do, because I'm now understanding and hearing about it, and, I'm all game. I would definitely like to make this an annual thing, and we talk about the competition more, and, hopefully, I can help build it out from here. So, right before we end, Taylor, and we definitely invite you to stay on. Hopefully we get some calls from some people to ask you some questions. How can we support the competition, and how can we get ready for next year?
Well, one of the things is that in terms of getting ready for next year, a lot of people contact me really early in the spring and show interest in it, but by that time, especially with the bands, I've already selected the bands that The other thing would be just I want to branch out and find some groups from other parts of the country. I've been for years dying to potentially get one of the Houston All-Star bands or the Louisiana Leadership Group, or I've always wanted O. Perry Walker and groups down there. So that's one of the things I'm going to try to branch out and get some groups from other parts of the country.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate your time. Next, we're going to have the Prunanalysis. Rashad, are you still there?
No.
I'm about to say I still see you in my little queue over here, man. So I'm glad you're still there, man. So I'm sitting here doing this off the chain halfway style. So I'm going to go this next portion, the Great Prunanalysis by the Great Prune Juice from the Fifth Quarter, especially people like me out here on the West Coast who are not able to be in the seat of the competition. He puts us there. We're going to go ahead and listen to that next. The Prunanalysis is by Rashad, is brought to you by Block Band Music and Big Deal Fundraising. The two people we were in, Tyrone Brown and Rashad. So two people we're just hearing from now. Let's go ahead and hear from their businesses. We'll take this time now.
Attention high school directors and alumni. Does your band need to raise money to travel, buy instruments, or uniforms? Are you looking to raise money to help your band? Well, Big Deal Fundraising is rapidly becoming one of the largest distributors of fundraising products in the industry. Big Deal is based in New York City and ships anywhere in the United States, offering quality products, fast delivery, and innovative consultation that will help you meet your fundraising goals. Call today at 855-244-4430 or visit us at BigDealFundraisingUSA.com. Big Deal Fundraising, your fundraising partner for your band or music ensemble. Block Band is a minority-owned music business that you can think of as your assistant band director. We help grow your musicians with a great selection of traditional concert band music. Then we back up their performance with necessities like reeds, oil, drum heads, drumsticks, and mallets. Finally, we outfit your players and auxiliary in shoes, spats, and gloves that match our precise custom drills. Got band? If so, then Block Band's got you. Check blockbandmusic.com or call us at 919-698-2560. That's blockbandmusic.com, 919-698-2560.
All right, we're back, and we really appreciate hearing from our sponsors that allow us to broadcast during these times and help us build our scholarship fund. Now we're going to hear from Prune Juice himself, Rashad Watters. What's going on tonight, man?
What's happening, man? First of all, man, I just want to say I appreciate you playing the commercial, man. It really helps me out with the ladies. You know, they like the commercial.
Definitely. Well, it's a great business. I love what you're doing. If you guys check out, he definitely is like the one stop for the band director. I know, I've always been like, hey, man, like I hear a song, and I'm like, hey, man, I bet you so-and-so would be tight if they heard this. You are the guy to come to, not only put the song together, but also put the drill and the actual experience, the actual halftime show. So shout out to you, man, and I love what you're doing with the Prunanalysis, so I really wanted to give you this time so you could highlight what you were doing, man. So go ahead and, the floor is yours, man.
All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and start out with the event itself, and then I'm going to allow you, I know we have limited time, so I'm going to allow you just to ask me, anything that you want so I can make sure that I cover, as much as possible.
Okay.
How the Prunanalysis works is, so I'm working, man. As the event is going on, if a band turns and faces the other band, I run over there and I'm standing right there in their faces with a notepad, to try to make that, give you the whole details there, man. But if you can imagine the setup, we're in the gym. I'm sitting right next to the judges. First Coast High School is in the stands right in front of us. Eastern High School is on the court diagonally to us on my right, and Proviso West is on the left. Proviso West is in the red and black, and Eastern is in blue, and First Coast is in purple. And these bands are going back and forth at it. What's happening in here is, in order to keep the event exciting, first the drum lines will play. Well, first the bands enter, and then they had the chance to play one song apiece. And then after that, one percussion section would do something, and then the bands would go through a round. And then the second percussion section, the bands would go through, maybe all doing a dance girl song. So it's a really cool event. After that, it goes into the individual solos, where you have the individual snare drum players from different high schools and multi-tom players, and they actually do drum sets as well as the universities would do some things as well. And they actually did two at a time for that. Then it finishes up with the drum lines coming back, a couple of drum lines coming back, and the bands interchanging, and then the bands will finally go at it one last time, and then we're out of there. So it's as far as all of that is concerned, it's a great event. Oh, I'm sorry. And then Warren County's drum line comes out and does an exhibition, and then the bands go, and then that's we're out of there.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people want to know about the bands, and of course they want to know about the drum line. So let's talk about the bands for a second here. Let's talk about the entrances. The first thing that happened, the first band that came in was First Coast High School. This, again, they're from Jacksonville, Florida. They came in, they made a tunnel first. And, man, I will tell you, they had some of the most amazing bass drums that I heard all day. Just the sound of the bass drums. One thing that I hear a lot is that, a lot of times when you are using the tonal bass drum concept, a lot of bands don't really do it right. The drums are tuned in such a way that they actually counteract each other. And so you really don't get a strong, definite pitch. Like with your tenor drums, it comes in real strong, but your bass drums can be really muddled. But these guys, man, the bottom drums at First Coast, they were just ringing. It was so intense, man. I'm telling you, it sounded great. I checked them out. Apparently they were using the Evans MX2, so apparently Evans makes a great bass drum head. But anyway, they marched in, they got into the stands, and they had a hard time getting into the stands because the crowd had already taken up the spot immediately next to the band.
Wow. Okay.
So they had to move them out the way. The band went in, the drum line went in right next to the rest of the instrumentalists. It's kind of weird how they were standing, though. They were kind of standing such that the bass drums had to turn and look behind them in order to watch the director. So I don't know why they didn't, turn around initially. But overall was a good entrance. I saw a couple things as far as the marching styles were concerned. Like most of the sections had the same marching style, but some of them have like a different marching style, so that kind of took away from the effect a little bit. But overall, it did really well. If I don't get the chance to say so, I'm really going to say that First Coast had a tremendous sound.
Wow.
It was such a beautiful, rich sound. On the top end of their sound, the trumpets had a hard time cutting through, but their baritones in particular were just putting out a lot of really good sound. So I just wanted to say that just in case the show ends before I had a chance to really talk about them.
Okay.
The next band that came through was Proviso Proviso West. And
are they from North Carolina or are they from Chicago?
These guys are from Chicago.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, wow, that's off the chain. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, they came a distance, right?
Yeah.
And let me see here. The first thing that you notice about these guys is that the cymbals came in first.
Wow.
They have 20-inch cymbals or 22-inch cymbals. There were 3 of them, and they were high-stepping, man.
What?
And those cymbals look good, man. I mean, they look like they were freshly polished, so they really caught people's attention. Drumline came in first. They did a tunnel. So whereas First Coast did the tunnel at the door with Proviso West, they came in and did the tunnel, and then the rest of the band came in. And Proviso West's drumline is just thunderous, man. They have these floor toms that they took off in order to do the tenor drums. So they don't use, traditional machines. They use the floor toms. And they are just, you can feel their sound. The only thing about it, though, was that the bass drums, there were 3 bass drums and 3 tenors. And it seemed like the bass drums had a hard time keeping up with the sound of the tenors. It was like boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was such a difference between the two.
Okay.
I don't know what to think about, going to a fiber skin head or something like that, just in order to get some more sound out of those bass drums. So then the rest of the band comes marching through. They're looking pretty good. One thing that really caught my attention was the flag. And I'm not one to really pay attention to the auxiliary like that, although
right.
I was forced to pay attention to the auxiliary during this night because there were so many good groups. But I really liked the flags. They had these Afro puffs. That was really cool. And they was really, each girl had a single Afro puff on the top of her head. I know my female listeners are really enjoying that. They seem to get into that. Us guys, we like to hear about blowing and blasting. But
right.
They like this style. So I'll shout out to all the ladies. Proviso West girls really look good with those Afro puffs. So they went and they sat down on the left. Third came in was Eastern High School. And Eastern High School, they came in completely different than the others. Instead of having the drum line to do a tunnel, they just had the band just to march in. So, of course, the first thing you're going to see is the dancers, followed by, I think, the drum majors and then the trumpets. So the drum line was in their spot with the rest of the band. So they didn't have maybe the thunderous impact that the other bands did. But that was fine. It worked for them. I'm not hating on that. They eventually got to the corner. They turned the corner at the end of the gym, and instead of just going straight to their seats like the other bands, they went ahead and put their horns up and cranked up Nights by Night. So it was kind of on at that point. And the arrangement had all the traditional, all the technical runs in there. And they did it well while marching, which I will tell you, Joe, is pretty impressive because I understand that about half their band is in middle school.
Wow.
And they have no seniors and no juniors in the band at all.
What?
The school doesn't even have juniors and seniors. Apparently the school had been shut down and restarted. So I know college bands that can't play that, So
right, exactly.
Really there. Yeah. Now, the only thing, though, is that in their particular position as they marched into the corner, the sound was kind of going to that corner. And also, like, the trumpets were kind of facing the long way down the gym. The trombones were playing directly into that corner. So you had your sound was going two different directions, and they weren't marching anymore. They weren't continuing to march into the stadium. They were just march timing. So a lot of that sound they were putting out was really kind of lost a little bit. So it really kind of took away from the effect.
Wow. Okay.
From there, they went ahead and marched on in. And their drum line is so completely different than what you would expect from a drum line. They do play with a lot of control, but almost to the point that they might be too soft. You know, particularly when you just follow Proviso West. I mean, they're ear shattering. You know, I mean, literally ear shattering. I really am not, being facetious here. They're really powerful. And not saying that Eastern needed to be like them, but they probably could have stepped it up just a little bit in terms of the amount of volume they've been putting out, just so the audience can feel the effect. I noticed they have 5 bass drums. The top 4 were using the clear pinstripes, and the bottom one was using the white Remo, either a Power Max or just a regular white Emperor. So they might want to go to all white all the way through, so there's a little bit more impact there. Anyway, I definitely got to give a shout out to the uniforms of both the dancers and the flags. They were spectacular. I mean, there's a lot of cool uniforms that were there, but they were spectacular. And let me also say this: the dancers from Eastern High School, Joe, get this. Guess how many times they changed yesterday?
4 times.
Nope.
More than 4?
Here. More than 4.
8?
The flags changed 4 times. The dancers probably changed about 8 times.
What?
Yes.
At the high school?
High school. Oh, that's nothing, man. I talked to them after the event was over and found out that they have somewhere between 50 and 75 uniforms.
Wow.
Yeah, I know your mouth just dropped. I know my.
I know. Wow. At a high school,
Yes. They're an amazing group of young ladies, both squads. Now, so going back, they're, just kind of keep this moving here a little bit. So let me get off the entrances. But they did a decent entrance, not as powerful maybe as you might expect it, but it's a decent entrance. Throughout, Eastern High School had a very controlled sound. And let me say this, with block band. We have arrangers on staff, and I teach them immediately that it's kind of like 3 styles of show style bands. We have there's the Southwest style or the SWAC style, the Southeast style, and the North style. It's very, very interesting that the 3 bands that were there each represented one of those styles. Provider West is definitely your Southwest style. They're no holds barred. They're blowing. They're coming at you, whereas First Coast was your Southeast style, where you have a very full, big sound, but not necessarily going for power so much. Now, I will say they're pretty powerful. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's really more so how big a sound can I get? And let me not let these trumpets scream. If the trumpets scream, I'm putting them out the band. That's kind of how they do it down south. Seems like.
Right. Taylor, do you want to say something, Taylor?
I just wanted to make one comment because I know Rashad was referring to them as First Coast, and I just wanted to give credit where credit is due. It's actually not First Coast. The name of the group is the Northeast All-Stars. It's a combination of 2 bands, of First Coast High School and Jackson High School, both out of Jacksonville, Florida. These 2 band directors combined the 2 bands about maybe a month and a half ago. So it was an all-star group. I just wanted to make sure I gave credit to those other students from Jackson High School.
Oh, okay.
Man, I wasn't made aware of that. I'm going to have to redo the whole Prunanalysis now. All right, thanks. I kept wondering why the announcer kept saying Northeast. They were like, that's because I know Aubrey Simmons over there. But okay, so now I know what's going on. So much props then to the all-star band from Northeast Duval. But once again, thank you, Taylor, for that. So once again, they have that Southeast sound, very rich, nice and low. Trumpets, if you scream, you're out of the band.
Right.
And then Eastern has your North style, which is, we're going to take it high but not too high, and we're going to play with a lot of control. It's going to be powerful, but it's going to be very, very controlled. And we're going to amaze you with our articulations and how clean we can be, and that's exactly how Eastern was. And so this is how those three bands basically played throughout the night. Okay. I noticed I did not mention Proviso. I did mention how Northeast Duvall sounded, but I didn't talk about how Proviso sounded. Very powerful. There was some spottiness. There was some spots, a lot of spots in there where there seemed to be some challenges as far as how well the music was known.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that would really be my main thing with them, is that when they were playing in unison, it sounded great. The 2D section sounded great, but sometimes there's some things would get lost in there. So I'm not sure what happened. You might have been a long trip or what have you. But also the percussion section was really, really strong, at points. So you kind of lost some of what they were doing. It seemed like a hard-working band, but you really kind of lost some of what they were doing. Eastern High School, overall great sound. They had some hard times. When the band was playing soft, there was a lot of things that was going on in the inner voices as far as intonation is concerned, like right in that mellophone section, right in that alto saxophone section. When the band was soft, it was always trumpet sounded great, trombone sounded great, but right there in that middle, there was some uneasiness there. So there you have it. All right. So where do we go? Where do we go from? Talk about drum lines, or do you want me to pick out particular drum lines? What you want?
Well, actually, that was right dead on cue as far as time. Actually, we're right at the 21-minute mark, and I wanted to leave the rest open for more of your comments about the drum line, or we wanted to open it up for the listeners to call in and voice their opinion, or if they had questions for one of you two guys, they could talk to you. So we're going to go ahead and play the last two of our sponsors here for this last block. The last block is brought to you by. We have the last block. It's brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography and Universal Credit Sources and bandhead.org. So let's go ahead and hear from them, and then in the last block, we'll give the actual results. Taylor posted them on his Facebook page, so we'll give the results from them, and then we'll just finish up talking about the competition and hopefully, more support for next year, and we'll wrap up the show. So again, I ask you guys for your patience, and also we give love to our sponsors.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. And coming this fall, HBCUbands.com. Write that down, HBCUbands.com. Is your credit score keeping you from buying a home, a car, starting a business, or getting a job? Is your score keeping you from living the life you want? Well, look no further than Universal Credit Sources. UCS can help with charge-offs, collections, late payments, bankruptcy, foreclosure, debt settlement, tax liens, and more. Our program is affordable with results in as little as 40 days. Call now for your free 10-minute consultation with Senior Credit Analyst and Loan Officer Angie B. Call her direct line at 469-362-9904. That's 469-362-9904. Or check out the website at universalcreditsources.com. Universal Credit Sources, for anything that's hurting your credit score. Are you thinking of tying the knot, having a party, or celebrating that special time in your life? To capture these special moments, call Liquid Effects Photography and take advantage of our 10 years of quality and experience. Liquid Effects Photography covers most of the Midwestern U.S. and will travel even farther on request. Call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. Or check out our website, liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography.
Okay, we're back, and we really appreciate hearing from our sponsors. If you would like to be a sponsor to our show, and you can play your commercial on when we're live on the air, and we'll help out as far as with our blog and more of our information, you can contact the show through the email or through Twitter or through our blog. We'll talk, and we'll let you know what's going on, and we're also into the cross platform. I said that last week, but the cross promotion as well. If you guys are not looking to pay for anything as well, we will go ahead and give shots out to your program and to your business to help you out as well. So just go ahead and contact the show. Taylor, I see looking on your Facebook page, I see that you posted the results of the competition. I'll read those right fast. First place was Bethel High School. Second place was Highland Springs. Third place was Hillside. And fourth place was Proviso East. Right quick, is Hillside, is that the school in Durham, North Carolina?
Yeah, that's Hillside from Durham, North Carolina. And Proviso West, not Proviso East.
Okay, my bad. Proviso West. Yeah, I think I know a couple people from Hillside I marched with at Johnson C. Smith. But we'll give this, let any of the listeners or anyone that wants to call in and have a question or talk to Taylor or Rashad or voice what their experience from the Battle of the Bands at 718-664-6025. This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Rashad, so I see that you do an analysis of the drum competition as well?
All of that, man.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess we could go through that. I mean, that's perfect. You know, I was letting this open for some more people, and I'm sure like once our listeners will grow, we'll have more calls calling in. So we could definitely get the Prunanalysis about what you thought of the actual drum competition itself. And if someone calls in, I'll let you know, and we'll let them speak.
Okay, I guess let's take it from bottom to top here with the top four. So start out with Proviso, for what I can remember. So Proviso East High School. The main thing with them, it was just there was definitely a high entertainment factor with them. You know, the artists did get into some of the things they were doing. They did this one little cool little thing where the whole drum line lined up. It was almost like the funk train that you see down south. The
nice.
cymbals did a dance first, and then the snares did a dance. The multi-toms did a dance, which you don't see multi-toms doing the dance. I mean, you just don't do that. But they did a dance. They held those big things around. Tenors did a dance. The bass drums did a dance. That was pretty cool. The snare playing, playing was decent. There was some points there. But I guess the number one thing I would say about them, and I'm sure this is what the judges would say as well, was the balance. Just the tenor drums really, really powerful. And they were able to hold back at times, but a lot of times when the whole drum line was playing, the tenor drums would just come through and just kind of dominate a lot.
Wow.
Also, they had an interesting place in the show. I think they were one of the latter drum lines. So at that time, the audience was kind of tired a little bit of high volume performances. And so they were the loudest, but they kind of, even though they were exciting to watch from a musical standpoint, it wasn't necessarily as interesting because the audience had heard loud so many times.
Right.
And I want to make sure I give props to Warren County real quick here because they were the last one to perform, of course, in the exhibition, and people loved them, and I loved them because that was the number one thing that they brought to, other than being really interesting to watch. They brought so much balance, that they weren't loud all the time. They brought it down. So at times when they made it loud, it was really interesting and helped the artists to get into. But other than that, they kept the volume down so that the show was entertaining. So that would be the main thing I would say about the West was just the volume there. Who was third place? Hillside?
Hillside, yeah.
Okay. Man, so I'm just trying to go through my notes and just try to find some stuff about them. Hillside High School. Okay, go ahead. I was gonna ask, was Proviso East the furthest? That was the furthest school that came from the farthest? Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's count. I don't know what the distance is between Chicago and here and Florida and here.
Yeah,
that's right, Florida.
Proviso's travel time was 17 hours, and the Northeast group's travel time was about 9 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. Exactly. One thing I noticed about Hillside, Hillside kind of has a certain reputation here in this area. They generally do really well in a lot of the drumline competitions in the area. And they're kind of trying to find themselves right now. They're under new management right now. So we all know, if you've ever been a band director before or been in the band when there's a transition, it's always a rough time. So you could tell that some of that we are Hillside wasn't necessarily there in this particular time. Just in the, from the energy standpoint, the energy level was a little bit lower than what I'm used to seeing. The clarity level. There were times, honestly speaking, there's some times where it actually looked like the drumline was bored.
They were bored?
They looked like they were bored. I mean, it's not that they weren't playing well. They were playing quite well, but one thing in a drum line, much more so than when you're dealing with wind players, it's all about your facial expression, because the audience doesn't know if what you're playing is good or not.
Okay.
They only know if they like it or not. So if you're playing a nice technical passage, they may not know if it's technical. But if you make it look like, man, this is the best thing you've ever heard in your life, the artist can get into that. But if you're not really showing it on your face, it doesn't really sell. And that's kind of what I saw there. Let's see here. There was some of the transitions as they were moving back and forth. It was really tight, some really tight transitions in there. So I was kind of scared of some collisions. But they made it work. No collisions or anything at all. But I really think that they're gonna now once they find themselves again, I think they're gonna continue to do well and perhaps place even higher on the upcoming competition.
Okay. Well, that sounds good, man. So now we're at second place for Highland Springs. Now, were they from North Carolina as well, Highland Springs?
No, Highland Springs is one of the dominant bands in the Virginia area. They just kind of, their whole band just kind of comes and just dominates people a lot.
Wow. Okay, that's what's up, man. I mean, that's the bomb that there's so many schools from so many other states. I mean, that's outstanding.
Right. It is outstanding. I have to commend Taylor for being able to bring them all up.
Yeah,
together.
Really.
So they started out with a concept. But we couldn't hear the concept. That was the only problem. I mean, we needed closed captioning because it was two guys came out and they had these white masks on, and they were looking for something. And all of a sudden, you hear this voice coming through through the speakers, but you can't understand. It was a lot of echo, or maybe it wasn't quite loud enough. And then you see a girl. They pull out 3 or 4 drum sets. And you see a girl bending over down in front of the drum set on the phone like she's hiding. But since we couldn't, apparently the voice is supposed to be her voice. Or maybe as if she were in the movie Scream and she was using some type of voice modulator or something. But you couldn't hear what she was saying, so the effect really didn't come off. So 2 guys take off their masks, they join the rest of the drum line, and then their drum majors come out. And the drum major uniforms actually kind of look like cops. So they come out, and they're actually hiding behind the drums as well. This part was actually pretty cool because they're doing flips and rolling around on the ground like they're stalking the drum line, trying to get around them.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they stand up and they shoot at the drum line. And when they shoot at the drum line, the bass drums all hit at the same time. And the drum line dodges. Like, they all dodge at the same time. That's really cool. Yeah, that was a really cool effect. And then the drum line shoots back. So they take their sticks and, they pow, pow, and the bass drums hit again. And they shoot 2 times at the first cop and he goes down, and 2 times at the second cop and he goes down. So that was a cool effect. Now, the only thing I will say, it seemed like there was 2 shots, but there was 3 hits.
Okay.
So there seemed to be some confusion there. Other than that effect went through well. Their playing was pretty good. I know that it wouldn't have been a clean sweep for Bethel, that they just dominated, the other drum lines. The Highland Springs, really was very competitive. Snare drums are pretty tight, doing a lot of the tonal bass drum things, like, of course, they're known for in Virginia. I would just probably say that, with a lot of the drum lines, when it comes to the tonal bass drum stuff, you might want to switch over to some of the indoor drum mallets. Because a lot of times you're doing a lot and the bass drums sound really good, but sometimes you lose that sound, that tonal sound. Unless you're using a really small drum, sometimes you lose that tonal sound, and so it's not really working for you as much.
Okay. So the last point, and we're down at the 6 minutes left of the show. Guess we made good timing on the show, and definitely Taylor and Rashad, I appreciate it, and definitely something we want to look forward to. Hopefully I will get you guys in the fall. We'll definitely do a couple of 90-degree shows in the same format. We'll talk about the competition. We'll hear the Prunanalysis, and then, we'll have time for people to call in. So I appreciate your time tonight. So in this last couple of minutes, let's hear about the first place. Also, too, it'll help. It wasn't a whole lot of YouTube videos out there. I tried to find something to look at just so I could have something to talk about. But yeah, it wasn't a lot out there. But in the fall, we know that'll be different. So we'll invite you guys definitely. Oh, actually, we do have a call now here. From the 904 area code. Caller, appreciate your call. Go ahead and tell us what city you're calling from, and give us your opinion this evening.
Yes, I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida. My name is Jessica. I actually competed in the Battle of the Bands yesterday. I was with First Coast High School. We were paired up with the other school, Andrew Jackson.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you. I've been listening.
I just met Jessica personally. She's cool young lady over there.
Okay, that's what's up. We'll appreciate the call, Jessica. Well, go ahead and we'll give you 2 cents tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Watters, for that shout out. And I just wanted to say that I did enjoy the competition. It was like a cool experience to be there and experience all the drum lines. It was kind of, I was expecting it different than I know a few had kind of backed out, like Cream, but like good experience.
That's really, really cool.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm on the I play with the drum section leader along with a couple other people, and I was wondering. I know that earlier, Mr. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name. I know the band director one time he said they choose the
Mr. Whitehead, Taylor Whitehead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Whitehead. They choose they used to choose the bands, but now you can if you have interest, you can put your interest in to come. I was wondering, was it the same way with the drum lines? Do you invite the drum lines, or because I know it was more drum lines supposed to come than the bands. It was like 3 bands and more drum lines.
Yeah, well, I do invite the drum lines, and I invite drum lines and open it up. One of the things that happens, just to kind of explain why some of the groups weren't there. Cream is a combination of students from a few different high schools out in the metropolitan Atlanta area. And this year, they generally don't even start practice until late spring. They do a lot of summer performances. But this year, they really haven't started performing yet, so that's the reason that Cream wasn't there. In terms of some of the other groups, it's the typical thing that normally happens in the high school realm. A lot of times that, school year's been long. A lot of students start missing practice and things like that. So some of the other band directors weren't comfortable bringing their students when the students hadn't pulled their weight in terms of things. But I just wanted to tell the caller that your group was outstanding. I'm really glad that they were able to come. I've known Aubrey for a long time, and Mr. Simmons, and I reached out to him. I heard First Coast Band at a event in the fall at the Adrian Carroll Battle of the Bands, and I was blown away with their musicality, and that's why I reached out to them about coming. And so that's why they originally were going to come just as by themselves, and then he went back to the drawing board and said they would join with the students from Andrew Jackson, but it was an excellent group. I enjoyed the performance.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that, and thank you for complimenting and having us come. The experience is really cool, and I hope we can come back next year.
Great. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that, Jessica. We appreciate the call. Rashad, did you want to say something to her?
Yeah, I just want to interject, and I want to say this. I'm not sure which school that you were with now that Taylor has dissed me on the radio and told me that I was all wrong. But I just want to commend your band director, for you being the young lady that you are, because I meet a lot of bands and I meet a lot of young people, and most of the time, you come up to a young person, they're like, But when I went to meet you guys and Mr. Simmons was moving around, you actually took the time and opportunity to say, "What? I'm Jessica. I'm one of the section leaders. How can I help you?" I mean, that says a lot about your school.
It does.
And your program. So I want to commend you and commend your school and your band directors for just the level of professionalism that you have as a young lady.
Yeah, Jessica, what year are you?
I'm actually a sophomore, so I will be graduating in 2015. This is my second year in the band at First Coast.
Okay. Well, wow, that's even more impressive. You would expect someone to say they're a senior, but already as a sophomore being a leader to, go out there and speak, that's really special. So definitely, we'll be looking out for your programs and definitely be looking out. We'll definitely remember the name, our future leader of America here. So we really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Whitehead, and thank you, Mr. Watters. Thank you all for listening to my call. And it was nice to be able to, the experience was nice, like I said, and talking to you guys. I really enjoyed it. And thank you.
Well, we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Also really cool with her. She always said, yes, sir, yes, sir. That's a dying thing out here, and probably not down south as much, but definitely out here for me, being in California, I don't hear it as much. Well, man, looking up at the clock here, we down to the 40 seconds left of the show. I really want to appreciate you, Taylor, appreciate you, Rashad, for your time and all that you continue to do. Love meeting you guys and love looking forward to the future to building the world a better place through the music arts. That's all the time we have for the show. We want to thank Taylor and Rashad for their time. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.